questions, but give us a little background on what credentials it takes to become a superintendent.
I'll go through my credentials. Obviously superintendents are hired by the Board of Education, and so
right.
They can vary. Exact credentials can vary from place to place, district to district, and that's almost nationwide that they're usually hired by the Board of Education. My credentials, education's, it's hard to say because I've been in education so long. I would say education's my second career. Coming out of college, I have a degree in criminal justice and math. I double majored. Was going to want to work in law enforcement. Ultimately, if you would ask me this, 18-year-old Derek Bubb would have said he wanted to go work for the FBI. Worked in fraud investigations for insurance for probably 4 years, and figured out, hey, I want to do something different where I'm changing the world and hopefully making the world a little bit better place. And so transition into education, having a degree in math doesn't hurt when you're trying to get into education. Math teachers are always needed. And so kind of stepped into the classroom in Southern California at Chino Hills High School, was able to coach football down there. Math teacher, really enjoyed that. In fact, I made the foolish mistake of telling everybody that I was only going to teach and I didn't want to do anything in leadership. And so I chose not to get a master's degree in administration my first time through. And then my superintendent somehow believed in me and said, no, I need you to get into educational leadership. And I remember the specific line. I said, in my classroom, I can make an impact to my 35 kids every single day. And he said, yep, as a school administrator, a district administrator, you get a chance to make an impact on 2,000, 3,000, in West Ada, 40,000 kids every single day. And that kind of changed my focus on where I was at. So I was able to get involved in that and went down the administration road, got a second master's degree in administration. Was a principal down in Southern California, head football coach, athletic director, kind of held all those high school roles. Moved into the principal job in Southern California, absolutely loved it, was at a tremendous school, Bonita High School down there. And my wife and I just said, hey, you know what? We kind of want to move to the Idaho area. And we really like the Idaho area. And so we came up here, we visited, enjoyed every minute that we had up here. Took an assistant principal job at Mountain View High School. Was lucky enough to work with Cliff Rice over there at Mountain View High School. He kind of taught me the Idaho way of education and really kind of explained, showed me the ropes here in Idaho. Was there for 2 short years. Moved over to Centennial High School. When I got to Mountain View, I decided to pursue another degree, my PhD, my doctorate degree through Northwest Nazarene. So I decided to do that and ended up at Centennial High School, finishing that up while going through COVID. And then this amazing opportunity came about, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and put my name in the hat and see what happens. And next thing you know, you're being named superintendent of the largest school district in the state of Idaho. Incredible opportunity.
That is amazing, and that is a bona fide, definite educational degree. Law enforcement, math. I mean, difficult subjects to tackle and do, and then like you said, we're looking now at you as the superintendent for the West Ada School District. But what are they called you the transformational leader? What does that mean to you? How do you describe that when somebody calls that you're a transformational leader?
Gosh, it gives me the chills to even hear that, to be described that way. I really pride myself in being able to look at an organization and being able to see not just what's going right, because I think obviously we need to be able to look at the things that are going right, but really critically analyze the things that need to be adjusted, can be changed a little bit, to make sure that our school systems are offering what our community, what our kids need. And I hope that that's what I can bring to the table. Being able to implement effective change is probably a huge part of that transformational leadership, but being able to do it as a team player and everybody rowing in the right direction, and everybody working together to make things go the right direction.
So I asked a couple people on some of my social media, if they had any questions for the superintendent, and just to follow up with that, what are the things that you're going to do to impact kids' lives daily? Because you talk, about that as you could do as a teacher and as you can be as, and that's where, in the beginning of our conversation, it's difficult. And just from my background, working with Dr. Linda Clark, who I never knew, never saw, thought she was an urban legend, right? Didn't even know she existed. For all I know, it could have been a Zoom, protocol kind of a thing. But and then you have Dr. Rennell, who, like, the first time I met her, like, she gave me a hug, and like I was like, whoa, wasn't used to this. And I've worked in the Valley View School District too, and it was kind of a smaller school district, and it's just very personal. So what are the things that you're going to do for the kids and the staff to get your Dr. Bub out there in the community and in schools so that they know that you're there?
Yeah. We've already talked about a game plan with that. I'm a relationships person more than anything else. I firmly believe in the idea that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I'm probably not going to be the guy that goes out and gives people hugs, but I'll for sure give them a high five in the hall, and building relationships, not just with students, but with staff, with parents, community members. I think those are all really an important part of the superintendent's role. And so I will do that. And engagement is one of those words that we use so widely in education. I will tell you, my engagement is going to be proactive engagement, and whether that be going to a basketball game. I was just talking to our activities director, our district activities director, and I said, your responsibility is to come down and grab me and make sure that we hit a sporting event every single week. That's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to go to our elementary schools and engage with our teachers, with our students. There's no way to know what's going on in our schools unless your face is in there. I think Dr. Reynolds did an amazing job being present with our teachers and our community, and I expect to continue that legacy.
Awesome. Yeah, it's nice to have a face-to-face, so who you're talking to, and not just kind of blowing smoke and living what they're up to and what they say. So
absolutely.
Of West Data, their curriculum has always been cutting edge, and on the just pushing the limits of not only what teachers can do and how they can do it, but also getting those kids in the best position for them, academically, professionally. What ways is the curriculum in the West Data School District? Is it going to be more innovative? I mean, what are some things you can do to keep the curriculum drive that's been currently in the West Data going?
Yeah, we're sitting down right now and really looking at our data, our results from this last year and last 2 years, last 3 years, to identify areas of needs. I think that will be the difference. What we're going to do is really concentrate on we've noticed some areas and statewide, probably nationwide. Being a math guy, that's always going to be a priority for me, but really digging in and saying, okay, where are our kids falling off in mathematics? Where are our kids falling off with literacy? And then what systems can we build to improve that and limit the number of kids that are falling off? Make sure our students are proficient at all levels. So those are going to be the pieces that we're looking at. We're lucky enough that we have tremendous teachers within our district that are always looking to be critical of their own work. I think my goal is really to be critical of where we're at as a district, and make sure that we have systems to support our teachers to allow them to continue to provide incredible educational experiences to our kids.
Well, and the follow up with that would be, this wonderful thing that was called COVID this last couple of years. What are some systems in place that you have now? Are you guys still going to offer hybrid? Just kind of what did you learn from COVID that would now affect that as well?
Well, I think that if we talked about what we learned from COVID, it would probably be a 2-hour conversation. So there's so much that we can take away from COVID, but I would say this: there are a lot of systems in place to make sure that we are able to meet the needs of our students. Some specifics: we obviously are going to have our brick and mortar buildings fully functioning. when we hit the fall. We also have an option of virtual schoolhouse. That virtual schoolhouse is going to stay up and running, and gives kids a second option. So if kids aren't comfortable coming back to school, if they're not comfortable with the limited masks and things like that, what is that going to look like? Well, they have an option of going to virtual schoolhouse. So those will always be available. Those will be available to our kids. The other thing that I think that probably we'll see moving forward is we've talked about for years in West Ada School District and kind of in the state of Idaho, we've talked about this idea of getting our kids one-to-one with laptops and devices in classrooms. We're there now. So we've really propelled ourselves. Now, how can we move from using those devices, not just as communication devices, but really as personalized learning devices? How can we personalize the experience for the kids in the classroom, for our students in our community? How can we do that for our kids? And so that's going to be kind of that next level of COVID recovery to say, okay, now we don't have to be on devices. We don't have to. I do not expect that people are on, that our kids are on devices 6-8 hours a day. But how can we use those devices effectively to personalize that experience, differentiate, which is always that word we use in education that's incredibly challenging. But is there any any form of technology that will help with that? So we're looking at that stuff now.
Excellent. And that brings up another great point is, the social emotional learning that's going on and the effects of COVID that has the effects of student mental health. What are some things that West Ada is doing? Because again, I've always give big props on West Ada kind of being proactive on things, and knowing that the mental health state right now of everybody in the world with the effects of COVID and the socialization, isolation, and kids just struggling, not only and what are some things that you guys have in place for social?
You broke up there for a second, but I think I got what you were saying.
Oh,
no, you're good. Social emotional health. Obviously, it's a huge priority for us. Going back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we know that kids need to be in a safe environment where they feel like learning kind of takes that second seat unless they're in this safe environment. I will tell you that one of the things that we've learned from COVID, in addition to everything else, is that schools sometimes, fortunately or unfortunately, are the safest place for our kids. And so continuing to provide that safe environment for our kids, providing adults on campus that care about our kids, providing systems to be able to address concerns when they come up. It is not just something that's going to come about now, but something that we've been addressing for years. And now we just know how valuable those systems that we have in place are. I think we need to be really intentional about reigniting that culture on our campuses. As we get back into the school year, I think it's really easy to just sit back and say everybody's going to be excited to get back to school. And I'll just tell you, I'm going to be really excited to get back to school. But I think we need to be cognizant that there's a lot of different ideas out there and different feelings out there when it comes to this stuff, and we need to be really, really aware of all of those things, making sure that we have counseling staffs available for our kids, and then we're providing the appropriate support that's needed.
Excellent. Well, so talking a lot about the roles of the superintendent, we talked about your the educational background that you got, transformational leader, your commitment to the community and what you're doing in the curriculum. What are some of the roles that you have with the negotiations for teachers' contracts and stuff coming up? Because I know there's a lot of those master contracts that are still kind of up in the air in the state board and all that. And I know it's kind of a touchy situation or touchy, subject, but what role would you take or pick up from Dr. Rennell that you have now going into the roles of, teachers' pay, the unions and all that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have a really good relationship with our union. We've got a brand new union president, and he's been amazing. We've developed a really good relationship. So we're excited about the relationship we have with our association. As far as negotiations go, that happens with our human resources. He really heads that up. We have a negotiations team that works with that. We've already settled our contract with our teachers, and so heading into the school year, we feel really good about that. Classified staff was a big piece of what we were looking for as a district. We knew we had to take care of our classified staff, and that's not just a West Ada thing. That's, you know, statewide, making sure that we're able to pay our classified staff competitive wage. They're the backbone of our school district. They make a lot of things happen, and making sure that they know that they're appreciated and that they're a valued member of our team. And so we were able to take care of that as well. We give them a substantial bump, and we feel like moving forward, we'll continue that road where we're going to take care of our employees. And you know, it's always going to be a challenge. It's not to say that that it's ever easy, but we feel very good about the relationships we have, and I expect to be able to continue that.
Yeah, I would agree. And anybody that has ever worked in education knows that, like, those secretaries, those paras, you know, those are the brick and mortar, if you ask me, of what education really is, and they make the wheels and everything go around. You know, your custodians, groundkeepers. I mean, it's just a great teamship of everybody joining together and coming together. So to kind of wrap this interview up, what would be, you know, if you were to speak to the teachers and parents and the community of West Ada, what would be your welcome message be? What would you say? How would you say, hey, I'm Dr. Bub and I'm the best guy for this place and I'm going to be here a long time? And what would be your message?
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously something that that I take extremely seriously. I am excited to be part of an amazing school district. I'm not here to flip the district upside down. I'm here to be a partner in the education of this community. I love this community. I love where I get to live, and my kids are a product of this system. I have a sophomore and a freshman at Eagle High School right now, and so I feel extremely fortunate to be part of that. There's going to be challenges ahead. I expect those challenges. We're going to plan for those challenges. We're going to work together with our stakeholders to make sure that we can get through those challenges. And I look forward to it. I look forward to continue to offer superior educational experience. I'm going to tell you, I think that West Ada is the pride of Idaho when it comes to educational experiences. And that is not due to who's at top, but absolutely due to those people that are working with their kids each and every day. I love and cherish them. You know, from kindergarten all the way to senior year, it takes a village to raise a kid, and I think our community does an outstanding job of that.
Excellent, definitely. Well, Dr. Bub, I appreciate you wholeheartedly to take the time out to you know, come on the Running Educator podcast, and you know, it's just good to kind of put the face to face and just kind of see what you're about. And I wish you the best of luck. And again, congratulations on your job and your journey. So I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate you having me. If you ever need anything, you let us know.
I will, man. Hope you have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.